Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out from his priest that his fiancée cheated on him at her bachelorette party. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. I, 31 male, met the girl 29 who I would end up dating during a church function around 5 years or so ago, when she and her family moved to our area. We moved in together and everything seemed like it was going great. After about 2 years, I asked her father for her hand in marriage. I proposed during a fancy dinner and she said yes. We started planning our wedding and then COVID-19 happened. If any of you went to church during COVID, but it was so weird and impersonal. Neither of us wanted to have such a happy moment spoiled like that, so we held off the wedding until we got the all clear. I should mention that we got along okay while we were living together. We had some disagreements, but I think it was just the stress of being locked up all the time. Things started getting back to normal and we started planning again. We set up the wedding at our church and got everything settled. My best man took me and my groomsmen out for my bachelor party, where we played pool and smoked cigars. My then fiancée told me that she and her bridesmaids went out for light drinks before having a fancy dinner. A week after that, I got a phone call from my priest, who's someone I've known almost my entire life since I was 10 years old. He tells me he needs to have a conversation with me, and we go out for coffee. My priest tells me that during confessional, my then fiancée came and confessed that she had drunken sex with someone else during their bachelorette party. He wanted me to know and told me I should make a decision about our marriage after I think about it for some time. Before I confronted her about it, I asked her maid of honor if it was true. She tried to dodge it, but eventually said she went into a room with someone and that she doesn't know what happened. That sealed it for me, and I confronted her about it. Even after telling her that I already knew, she denied it and got angry with me for not believing her. I got up and left, called her dad and told him what happened and that she would need to stay with him for a while. We're still settling who's getting our current apartment, but it's my name on the lease. Hopefully, she'll get her things and leave my life forever soon. I'm glad you found out about your fiancé's infidelity, OP. Her cheating on you just days before the wedding says a lot about her. The fact that she lied, denied, and tried to gaslight you when you confronted her with the truth makes it all worse. If you didn't know, you would have blindly walked down the altar and vowed to spend the rest of your life with a woman who had no problem being with someone else just the night before. It might honestly be a one-time thing, but still, that doesn't make any of it better. It's a good thing you're calling it off. It's okay if you can't go on with the marriage plans when you're now aware of what she did. Story 2. About a month ago, my wife, 38, of 16 years, cheated on me, 44, with her ex-boss. He had left the company the week before. We were both supposed to go to a party downtown that night and spend the night at a nearby hotel. Our babysitter became unavailable, and I needed to stay home with our kiddo, 5 years old. She decided that she would go alone and stay the night without me. Before she left for work that morning, I told her how uncomfortable I was with that. Normally, I wouldn't have cared, but my spider sense was tingling because of weirdness over the previous few days. She told me there was nothing to worry about, and that was that. I woke up with a start at 2:15 a.m. and a knot in the pit of my stomach. She had recently turned off her phone location service. Should have been a huge red flag, but I didn't actually think that much of it, but I checked it anyway. She had turned it back on, and I could see she was at an apartment complex nowhere near the party location. She was there until 9 a.m. I confronted her when she got home, and after some half-hearted lies, she stopped denying it. It was the first time. Might have been some groping and/or oral earlier in the week. I'll never know. Though it wasn't a drunken moment of weakness, she had been thinking about it and planning it for a couple of weeks. She knew what she was doing and obviously didn't care what it did to the family. Our marriage has had its ups and downs, and I've not always been the greatest husband. I've never been unfaithful though, and I love her dearly. Whatever issues we had, I think we could have worked through. From what I can piece together, I think she was looking for a quick escape from a husband and child that she felt were stifling her. It was a chance to have a different, more exciting life. Turns out that her ex-boss was really just looking for a little something on the side. He put her into a cab, still in her evening gown, and made her walk the 9 a.m. walk of shame back at her hotel by herself. Oops. After she finally admitted the infidelity to me, she told me that it had been a mistake and that she wanted to stay with me. There's a chance that her ex-boss would try to hire her at the new company he works for. She's really damn good at her job, and I suspect his motivations would be more that she would help make him look good rather than sexual. She's really not his type. I told her that there was no way that could happen. She couldn't be with me and work for the man she had broken her vows with. I told her that she needed to call her ex-boss and tell him that they could never speak again, and I needed to hear her say the words to him. She resisted this fairly strongly. The new job, if it were to materialize, would be an important career boost for her. Turning it down would be a big sacrifice, so I understood some of the hesitation. She asked me for a day or two to think it through. She went over to her mother's house for a couple of hours, and when she came back, told me that she had decided to make the call and give up the career opportunity. What she didn't know was that because I get the phone bills, I have access to her call records. I could see that she had talked to her boss for an hour while she was going to her mother's. I didn't mention that I knew this and had her call her boss. She told him that it had been a huge mistake and they needed to cut off all communications. He said that he understood and would honor her wishes. Pretty much exactly what I wanted to hear. Later, I asked her if she had talked to her boss since he put her in a cab back to her hotel. She said that she hadn't. I pressed her on this, and she said, "If you want the truth, I just sent him a text just seeing how he was recovering from the party." I told her that I knew that this was a lie, and I knew she had talked to him before coming home from her mother's. I pressed her on what the hour-long call was about. She told me it was to talk about what she was going to call him about later with me, the breakup call. I realized, of course, that this made the whole breakup call a pile of nonsense. I told her that I thought she called him to see if there was any chance of a relationship. She denied, but couldn't otherwise explain what the hell they talked about for so long. Finally, she let it slip that he had said, "You need to try to make it work with your husband. If not, then we'll see." So my instincts were right. She had to think about whether to turn down the possible career opportunity because she had to figure out what her options were. If she could just have the job and the fellow she was infatuated with, that would be her preference. Failing that, she decided she'd rather lose the job and be with her family than be alone and maybe or maybe not get the job. For what it's worth, I eventually told her to accept the job if they offered it. I don't think he will though, since he's had sex with her, too much career risk from drama and fallout. That was all about a month ago. Since then, she's been the model wife. We're going to counseling, she's done everything that I've asked. She's put up with my various late-night talkathons. She doesn't complain when I don't let her sleep in our bedroom, and she's not made it about her much. She clearly wants things to work now, and I believe her when she says she wants to be with me. At the same time though, I'm still having difficulty just with the physical side of infidelity, and I'm having a lot of trouble with being plan B. Part of it is my bruised ego, but a very large part is a concern that she wants our relationship now. But what happens in the future? I feel she's accepted her life and is now gung-ho about making the best of it. What happens down the road though? So the question in front of me now is, what do I do? For the last month, I've been bouncing all over between just digging in and fixing things to thinking about asking her to leave. For what it's worth, if she leaves, the kiddo almost certainly stays with me. My work gives me the time and ability to be a stay-at-home dad, which is a role that I enjoy. My inclination as a father is that I probably have to stay and try to make it work. Kids do best with a mommy and daddy who love and respect each other. If there's still even a remote chance of that happening for the long term, I don't think I can deny my son that chance. I'm hoping but not convinced that time will dull some of the raw emotion. I'm sorry for your pain, OP. This is really hard. 16 years is a long time, and for her to throw everything away? If you're wondering what to do, the answer is clear. You may not like it, but it's clear. Should you stay with her? Obviously not. Time would not dull this kind of pain. She's not really interested in the relationship anymore. She's just willing to settle to avoid the alternative. Therefore, you shouldn't stay. What about the kids? Any professional in child development will tell you the kids will be better off with you two apart. I'm sure it'll be a painful next step if you decide to do what's best for you, your kids, and your wife. But the good news is that past that, it will be better than if you stay. Now for some comments. She was actively trying to find something better, got rejected by that something, got busted, continued to lie, deny, and cover up. Now that those options are dried up, she has no choice but to act the role of a model citizen. She's obviously been okay at acting to this point, so I don't know why you would buy this sudden change in attitude. She effing sucks. Trying to stay together just for the kids will probably do more harm than good unless you can get back to an actual marriage instead of some Cold War state where you don't trust her at all. And from what this sounds like is her family was her second choice here, and she's only still trying because the other choice caved. Don't even start with the whole bruised ego thing either, because it wasn't just you that was plan B, but your children as well. She showed zero regard for you and your children until you were her last option. I think you and the kids would be better off without her, because it's probably just a matter of time until she thinks she can trade up into a more carefree lifestyle again. You are now plan B. Sorry if that's harsh, but I don't see how it's not so. People using plan B will always look for a new plan A, and B never gets promoted to top billing. The events of your story mirror mine very closely. Model wife immediately after the truth came out. Counseling going well, a real sense of hope. Until she finds a new A. Get out now with something of your dignity intact. Your children will ultimately be okay. Right now, they know something's wrong, no matter how well you think you two are covering it up. They're smarter than you think and a hell of a lot more resilient. They will adapt if you're in a good headspace. You'll be on the right path to that if you get out with your dignity. I didn't, and I'm still working on getting it back 100%. Don't be like me and think almost daily about ending it all. Good luck.